is going on, y'all? This is Drake back with A&W Athletics. Man, we're going to start this thing back up. We got my boy Corey here on set. Just a little bit about myself before we dive into anything. I'm back in the area, moved here from Southern Illinois. My wife will be teaching in Broken Arrow, moving my kiddo down here. We just got a place today in Broken Arrow, so kind of finalizing that up. But we did this show about 5-6 years ago. We're going to pick it back up, man.
Well, you get a place, you mean you like squatting or something?
Oh, I'm a squatter. Come kick me out of my house.
But no, so we've got the band back together, thank goodness.
The boys are back in town.
The boys are back.
The boys are back in town.
As he said before, we did this show once before, A&W Athletics. We did it, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago before he moved away. So what's going on with us now is that we've decided to reboot it back up since he's moved back from the People's Republic of Illinois. So we're back in town. We got the show going. I guess I'll go ahead and plug our show. This is not the only show we do. We do why we've been waiting on him to come back. We were doing a Wasso Live, which is our morning news show that we do, the Morning Loop. We kind of give a daily recap of news and current events and some culture stuff. So that's what we got going on here. This guy over here, if you're going to go back to Mr. Allen, he's going to tell you about his show.
I've got my own show going on too called Cold Beers and Whitetails. I publish an episode a week while drinking a beer talking about whitetails, and I publish short archery content in the meantime. Chad kind of helps me with that show as well. Chad, introduce yourself. We got Chad behind the boards right now.
I'm behind the cameras for this particular show, and most of them, actually. But I am also working on Wasso Live and A&W Athletics and his Cold Beers and Whitetails. I help edit and produce his videos. And I'm kind of just behind the scenes, but I can give stats and stuff for this show, and I'll throw in my 2 cents occasionally every once in a while.
He's pretty much useless, guys.
Yeah, please don't.
No, I'm just playing. No, I can't do what he does behind the board. I know I'd be pretty damn confused trying to run those. I could break your equipment real quick if you want me to.
I believe that.
Well, what do you say we just dive right in, man? So, OKC Thunder, let's start there, man.
We're going to talk about the Thunder. We'll talk about how, first of all, we're going to talk about how the season ended going into the playoffs, because I think that was a pretty cool race to see in. With 2 games to go in the regular season, there were 3 teams tied for the first place spot in the Western Conference. Obviously, the Thunder are the number 1 seed, so we did handle our business for the last 2 games, and we needed teams to lose, and that did happen as well. But either way, as the quote goes, you want to be playing your best ball at the right time, and the boys certainly were. So they come in to tonight's game. They play the Pelicans, which are an 8 seed. They beat Atlanta Hawks on a play-in game just to get into the bracket. So I guess playoffs technically started earlier this week, but for the people who have solidified and clinched, it starts tonight. So they're the 8 seed. They're going to be playing tonight at 8:30 and Wednesday at 8:30, and as well the following Sunday. So that's your games 1, 2, and 3. Man, I think we got a good team, a young team with some talent on it, led by Shea Gildress-Alexander. And you always like to keep asking me, do we have bench help? I don't know how to answer that question other than we've got to see what happens when they roll the ball out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when we were doing the podcast like 4 or 5 years ago now, that was our problem. We only had Russ. We had Russ Westbrook, and he was working on that triple-double record and all that. So
yeah,
I remember that was what he was focusing on every game. It's like there'd be other people who were in better position to get that ball and get that rebound, but he was jumping up for him, fighting his own teammates for it. So that's what happens when you have a team based off or centered around one dude. We got to have the bench help to win the postseason. You can't just be like, when your guys get tired, they got to sit down for a minute and get their strength back.
Yeah, they do, and I think the best thing about this team is they're younger. It does look like there's more gas in the tank. The only issue is I can't answer if there's bench help. You only know the bench players that come in who are key when the moment happens, because there's no way to test what somebody's going to do in a situation that's not created yet. That's the only tough part about sports. You can play the game out on paper all you want, but the reality of it is there's going to be elements that come into play that you can't account for. People on the bench that you didn't think were going to play good, that play good, or people that are on the bench that you thought were going to play good, that played bad.
Even the GOATs had their bad days when it came to hitting the hoop, man. Like, I mean, even Larry Bird would be like teammates would be like, Larry, you haven't hit anything all day. We're not passing you the ball. Yeah. And he's like, hey, feed me.
He'd go take the ball away from him.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't scared. He'd say, who are you going to send out here on me to guard next? He'd be out there talking trash to the bench while he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
No, a lot of good stuff to look forward to. Mainly we'll be covering right now at this particular juncture of the year Oklahoma City Thunder basketball, I can tell you our bread and butter that we both love, we could probably talk too long about, is going to be college football.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as that builds up, and I mean, towards the end of the summer, you'll probably only be hearing us talk about that. We're going to cover local stuff too, like reporting local high school scores and stuff like that. But we're going to talk about what we're passionate about. So, I mean, like the Thunder right now, it's very relevant. We both like the Thunder. We're going to talk about that. When it comes to college football, as the summer starts to wind down and gets to the heart of it, we're going to talk about college football.
Absolutely.
That's what we love and we're real passionate about. And to be honest, if there is or isn't a camera on us, we have enjoyable conversations about all of those topics.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and dive into a little bit of the. It's been a full month of baseball. Baseball's finally wrapped up their exact. Like this was the exact day a month ago they opened up. You know, actually I think I'm about a week early. They opened up on the 27th or 28th. So you got if you're a baseball fan, we'll cover it here and there. I'm a huge Reds fan. I'm certain we won't have a big Reds audience where we're publishing and what we're talking about, but not a lot really has gone on in the first month of baseball. My team is 12-9. You know, we're just sitting right there at the mediocre and show you how to disappoint you level. You know, that's what we're great at. One of the funny things they do in the dugout when they win, they pull, or when they hit a home run, the guy pulls out a bat that's a rubber bat and looks like a you know what. I love it. And he puts a Viking helmet on. That's me breaking my chair, everybody. But yeah, no, I mean, when it comes to baseball, we'll probably as the summer winds down and as we start talking about college football, you'll probably hear us talk a little bit more about baseball in general, just because that's when the playoffs will go on, and we'll cover that a little bit too and keep you guys updated on that, just relevant topics. But as early as it is, there's 162 games. We're far from the end, guys.
Yeah, it's kind of like with basketball. Like it doesn't matter until you get to the playoffs.
It doesn't even once you get to the playoffs. Look, the Thunder just proved to you, hey, we've had a great year. Well, you still have got to battle out first 2 days outside of the season, so it doesn't matter, man. It's a knit and claw just all the way to the very end. So sometimes following certain sports at the end of their years better anyways.
Even with like college football now, so you got college football, and it's like you've extended the playoffs to where you're playing teams longer. Like I mean, like you got to hope that your team stays healthy in those playoff games as well.
Well, in the NFL, they do that too. Here's how controversial it is in the NFL, because you used to have, so now they've extended the regular season by 2 weeks now, which is used to be a 16-week schedule, is now an 18-week schedule. They've literally added games. Well, where that comes into play is what you just said, injury, staying healthy, and trying to play your best ball at the right time. But it comes even more controversial when you add that many games from a record standpoint, because you have people that were the all-time leading rushers or the all-time leading passers or the all-time leading sack people who had all these records but were based on a 16-game season. Well, now you got an 18-game season. So, a man out there nowadays has got another opportunity or two to go make that record happen. So, even from that standpoint of, keeping your team healthy and trying to play ball at the right time, which is already difficult enough, you got people, unfortunately, from an individualized standpoint, chasing their goals, which can come off in not necessarily a team-oriented manner, that is going to happen, I think, more and more often, because a guy's going to be, like this past year, was a perfect example, because Tom Brady, or Rob Gronkowski, that's who it was, needed a catch for like, if he hit another catch, he was going to get like 1.5 million extra on his contract, because it said if he has X amount of catches, that's what he's going to get. Well, they were beating somebody's ass so bad. They had no business being in the game. Well, now he's in the game, and all of a sudden he wants the pass. So Brady throws him a 2-yard pass. He gets up and celebrates like they, won the Super Bowl. But he's in all for his 1.5 million.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man. So you'll see stuff like that go on, which I don't blame the guy for doing that, dude. If I was one catch away, I'd be doing the same freaking thing.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is if the season were 2 weeks longer, are we really having this conversation? Or 2 weeks shorter, are we really having this conversation?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a selfish move, but it's a move you understand. I mean, when you're at the top of your game and you can get out there and do that, but at the same time, it's that scene from Friday Night Lights where Booby goes out there one more time. It's like, that was dumb to have him out there.
Hey, you want to win? Put Booby in. Let me spin, baby. Yeah, that's not what you were saying on your uncle's shoulder in the car. I'm not going to do it is.
I mean, it's the same with Gronk, though, man. He's a big boy, but, man, you get hurt. I mean, imagine getting lit up on a 2-yard pass. Granted, Gronk's a big boy.
Yeah.
You know, but imagine getting your ACL tore on a 2-yard pass just so you get that.
I'm not done with the Friday Night
1.2.
Lights reference. Where's Walter Bug?
A lot of bugs.
That's why Waterbug's in there with the white cleats, son. Put him in. Want Booby in? Let him spin. Sorry, I'm done. I'm sorry I'm making fun of you, Booby. I don't know if you're a real person out there somewhere, but sorry, bud.
Oh, God. Such a good movie. But, okay. So, let's push on to the last subject.
The last
we got
topic.
here.
Okay, yeah, the last topic is we're going to talk about
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, our beautiful girl from the corn state of Iowa, Caitlin Clark, the all-time NCAA scoring leader, past the men's all-time scoring leader. She is.
So she's better than LeBron.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's it. Show's over, guys. Not a LeBron fan. You will find that out very soon throughout the show. Sorry. If you are, that's okay. I won't hold it against you. Just don't hold it against me if I hold it against you. Am I not talking? You need me in the mic?
Yeah, you're
okay.
good. You're
Sorry about that. But, yeah, Caitlin Clark, I think I'm just highly impressed she's broke the NCAA record. I mean, it's been awesome watching her do that. The whole country watched.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
she made women's sports entertaining. How about that? That's a heck of a feat.
I was reading online. This is what I think's funny. I want to talk about this. This is what I think's funny. Caitlin Clark earned $3.2 million through her NIL contract while she was playing at the University of Iowa. Good for her. That's awesome. That's crazy, first of all, that a female in college sports can make that much money, number one.
Yeah.
But I was looking online for the max contract of a WNBA player, which I found this all very interesting, that a max contract for a WNBA player would be $250,000 a year. So she's going to end up potentially making more money in her junior and senior year of college than she will, arguably a fraction of her career being labeled a professional. And I think that another thing to point out, too, if anybody wants to complain about what I'm pointing out, by all means, have at it. But I don't think anybody will disagree, and if they do, I can just prove some stats to you. Something you mentioned that you know, a lot of people are like, man, I can't believe as a pro she'd only make $250,000 as a pro. Well,
let's think this out rationally just for 1 minute.
That's where I'm going to turn it to you about the profit of a.
So all these, especially all these chicks, I mean, like, there's one thing that women are doing that's about coming out and fighting together for sports that they don't watch. Like, they love complaining about sports that they would never sit down and watch. Bill Burr talks about this crap all the time. Like, women and feminists complain about women not getting paid the same, but then they don't go and watch the women's sports when they play. Yeah. So here's the deal. Caitlin Clark may not be making that much money as a WNBA player, but guess what? She's making a crap ton of money on her endorsements. The same as UFC fighters. Everyone complains, Dana White don't play those UFC fighters enough. They don't get paid nothing. He goes, you know what? That's why they're wearing those shorts with all those logos on them. That's why they're wearing those gloves with the logos on them.
The Prime logos on them, yep.
There's a reason. There's endorsements. They're getting paid a load of money. I mean, do you think Caitlin Clark's not going to have the high, like, she's going to be like the highest paid Nike and spokesperson ever?
She's going to be the next.
Do you not think
Subway.
auto manufacturers are knocking her door down? Do you not think insurance companies are asking her to do TV?
She'll be on there doing the State Farm commercials with, you know, what's his name, the Chiefs.
Pat Mahomes.
Patty Mahomes.
She may be up there with Peyton Manning and Papa John's commercials.
Oh, you bet.
Just don't say the word. You know what I'm talking about, too. Sorry. Yeah, I wouldn't go there. Everybody knows that's why he got done. I'll go there. I'll say it. Just don't say it. I'm not saying it right now. Right?
But yeah, that is the problem right now. It's like everyone goes into the fact that she's not getting paid enough, and it's same with the soccer girls too. It's like they're not getting paid enough. It's like they're not generating the revenue. Like the WNBA is a subsidized league, and guess what it's subsidized by? The NBA.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing that you could not turn a profit in the, 20, 30 years of your entire organization's existence and still pay all of your employees a salary. That's
Say that last part again very clear, because I think a lot of people will think you're BSing.
Isn't it amazing that you can be and have a business that has run for 30-plus years, never turned a profit, but still be able to pay all of your employees, including athletes, media personalities, as well as staff and administrative staff?
I know that everybody's mama, at some point, whenever you were growing up, you got an argument with your mom, and she says, "Don't bite the hand that feeds you." if any women's basketball player that's in the WNBA decided they wanted to talk crap about their pay, then they should just go right to the NBA. And let me tell you this, not a good idea. Wouldn't do it. Because I'm telling you this right now, the second they pull the rug from under you, nobody's funding you. I can promise you that.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, it's only a short time away before there is no WNBA. It'll be the TWNBA. It'll be the Trans League. There's not going to be a female player playing.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And you know what I could see? The Thunder signing Caitlin Clark because that girl can hoop. So, yeah, at that point, hell, mix them all.
Yeah. But I mean,
but there's no rule that women can't play in the NBA.
No, there is no rule for that. That's because they're not good enough to play in the NBA.
Oh, that's because they can't jump up and throw the ball through 10-foot cylinder. Never would have thought it.
Well, here's the other thing too. Have you ever turned into somebody and hit a brick wall? That's what it's like when a woman tries to go into a guy.
Can you imagine Caitlin Clark trying to guard Shaq?
Yeah, I'm going to stop you. Okay. Good luck.
Stop me from what? Ordering a pizza? Hey, guess what? You ain't going to stop him from doing that either. I know y'all seen Shaq get out of the little Kia car in the commercials. Come on now. Or doing that general commercial. Come on now. But seriously, though, I mean, I don't know. That's just our thoughts on the Caitlin Clark situation.
Yeah, no doubt she's a once-in-a-lifetime talent in the female bracket. But, you put them out there and you say, yeah, she can hoop with LeBron. Yeah, if they're on the practice court, just shooting hoops.
If
sure.
they're playing knockout. Because the second they start playing horse, I'll tell you, LeBron's going, we're playing horse off the backboard, dunk. Do that.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. H.
H. That's gold, man. That is gold. Oh, my God.
But we don't really have. We'll have. This is our first episode back, so bear with us in regards to content. By the time we come back, we'll have 2 Oklahoma City Thunder games to talk about.
For sure.
We'll have 2 Thunder games. We'll be able to talk a little bit. We'll touch here and there on baseball. It's just I like baseball, but I like drinking beer and watching baseball, so I wouldn't sit here and say I'm an expert at it. Yeah. But I'm going to cover the relevant stuff in it. And
I'll say this: nobody feel bad for Caitlin Clark. She's making more money than most people out there already.
Sorry, Kay. You know what? Hopefully this part goes viral. I'm going to say it. If you were going to draw up a chick and I said, hey, if I gave you a piece of pencil and a paper, I said, draw me a white girl from Iowa. Looks just like Caitlin Clark. I'm telling you this. She looks just like you would think a poster child from being from Iowa is. Little short, white, pasty girl that says,
except she's 6'4".
No, she's not, though.
What is she?
She's probably
I think she's like 6
pull it up
something.
on your thing. She
can't
be 6'4".
I think she's pretty darn tall, dude.
She's probably 6 foot, which is tall for a woman. Sorry, but.
She's not as tall as that girl that got arrested in Russia, that's for sure.
Oh, Griner. I didn't know the weed was in the bottle.
There's a microphone in the cave.
And Putin's Clark. Hey, and Putin's like this. Sure you didn't. Max sentence.
Yeah, gone.
Yeah. Especially when he found out, what do you got? How tall is she?
Hang on. Height.
Oh, it was right there to the...
Hey, where?
To the right there.
Oh, 6 foot.
6 foot, yeah.
Dang, okay, so I was wrong. She's 6 foot.
So she could be blown away in the wind like a kite. And she don't look like she eats a ton. She just looks like I get a lot of shots up. A lot of shots up. At one point, I did watch in the tournament. She barely crossed half court and flung a shot up. I was like, that is a stupid shot. And I was like,
goes in.
That was a good shot. And I was like, that's how the game's played now in general. They make a lot of my old.
That's how the game is played in the WNBA, though. They just throw them up. It's called spray and pray. It's like what I do.
By the time we're done with this episode, the WNBA is going to think that our whole spiel is to bring their whole thing down.
Dude, nobody's crapping on. I'm glad the girls.
Oh, yes, we are.
If I could play, if I could play 3 months out of the year and get paid the league minimum $70K to do it, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, well,
nobody should be complaining about being able to play a kid's game as an adult. And not complain about their salary. You're making $70K. You're making more than the vast majority of Americans.
That'd be the minimum. Max would be $250K.
Yeah.
But again, this is on the heels of another organization. You got to know once you're leaving college in that position, from that standpoint, you're not stepping into necessarily a lucrative industry. This ain't the NFL. Sorry.
And this ain't the MLB either. Good Lord, those contracts are wild.
There's no salary cap in the MLB. Well, I was telling some guy that at work the other day. He goes, "Man, they shouldn't be able to. They shouldn't be able to pay, it was my buddy back in Illinois. That's who it was. And he said, man, they shouldn't be able to pay everybody like that. And I said, I think every league should. I think the NFL should. I think the NBA should be able to pay for the league. And he's like, well, how fair would that make it? And I said, about as fair as what the Yankees did when they were running it back in the 90s. And they haven't won one since. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's not stopping from these little teams from being able to spend money and keep people places. Just – do you really got to have incentive for the last place team every year? And anyways, who wants to be a last place team that guy's like, yay, I get first pick next year. Cool, you're the biggest retard in the room.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, here's the deal, too. It doesn't really matter because that might be a bad investment anyway. It's like, oh, yeah, we're going to sign so-and-so for $300 million for over 5 years. What happens if he gets hurt?
What if
he has a life-altering injury? It's like, well, what are you going to do? We guaranteed him that money.
If it's not a surefire Hall of Famer, you just wasted your first-round draft pick on him and your first pick overall.
Let these teams place their bets and then make their bed and lie in them. And
who's telling you say you can't pay? You want to overpay for somebody? You should be able to overpay for somebody.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Never, like, it's all negotiating. Like, capitalism at its finest. Like, allow people to dictate what they think they're worth. And if people don't think they're worth it, they're not going to pay them. If they think they're worth it, they're going to pay them.
Yeah. And the argument in baseball why people don't like it is like, well, if you're good, you're just going to go elsewhere. Well, it's like this, man. Figure out how these major market teams like Kansas City, Cincinnati, Cleveland, figure out a way to pay them. Figure out a way to keep them there. And if you can't, figure out a way to get players around them. That's what's most important.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, you could keep a lot. Like, if you had a country boy guy in the MLB and there was like a team here in like Texas, you'd be like, oh, I'm not leaving Texas. Like,
yeah, no.
I'll stay here forever if I could.
Especially they just won the World Series last year.
Mm-hmm. So, like, I'll stay here. But then you got these guys that they'll follow the money because they just don't care. But you'll get some of these guys that's like, no, I'm pretty comfy here. Like, I got my kids in school.
Just take care of them, man, and that's what I think. I think that's all the guys yearn for anyways. They're just going to go to places they think they know they can be taken care of. Mm-hmm. So why don't you try doing it your own damn self as an organization? Mm-hmm. Try doing it as the frickin' Reds, the Royals. Try doing it as the Indians. Try doing it. Maybe you'll find yourself in a better market than what you ever thought you would have been. I mean, but yeah. I don't got anything else. You got anything else?
No, man, that's it. Well, I think we can talk about that baseball player that got accused of all that stuff next time. So that'd be a fun little topic to talk about. I can't think of the guy's name at the moment.
The one that
he's playing in the Mexican League now. He got accused by Miss Arizona.
Miss Arizona.
And then there was another girl too.
Baseball career. Before.
He didn't do it.
He didn't do it. They proved it.
Oh, did he really not?
Hashtag believe all women.
Well, that's like that Trevor Bauer guy. You ever heard of him? Where he was a pitcher for the Reds. And
that's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. We'll talk about Trevor Bauer next week.
Dude, that's my boy. Dude.
Yeah.
He was a Cy Young pitcher.
He got screwed. He's playing in the Mexican League now.
Yeah, dude, I know he got fucked over. I don't care if you bleep that out.
Wow, dude. We'll pull up a bio on Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer. That's what I'm talking about.
He was Cy Young, and then what happens is that
he got that contract,
and then the freaking Dodgers paid him the big bag, so he goes out there with the Dodgers during the COVID years. Mm-hmm. Sorry, the man's got a lot of freaky sex lifestyles. He says, yes, I did choke her. I did spit in her mouth, all this crazy stuff. I'm like, my man.
Look, he's a legend, dude.
Yeah. But he goes, I got text to prove it that says that's what she likes. And I'm like, you got text about that too?
Well, when you make $50 million a year, girls are into a lot of stuff.
I'm like this. Sit down. Let me talk to you. It has nothing to do with legalities, more about specifics.
Yeah, we'll do a bio of Trevor Bauer next week and just talk about the lights and shine.
Next week, that's kind of relevant. Yeah. We'll talk about Bauer. We'll talk about the Thunder. We'll give a little baseball update with Bauer, and then that'll be about it, boys.
All right. Well, that's about all we've got for you today.
Back in the saddle again, Chad. First episode down, being back.
Heck yeah, boys.
Peace.
We'll see you later, guys.